Hey, this is Neil, the Barbarian Dad. Hope you're doing well out there. So today I want to come to you with a video talking a little bit about medical preparedness and what you can do to be ready every day for medical emergencies, even if you're not an ER trauma surgeon or an ER nurse. Okay? And so the number one thing that I want to encourage you to do is get proper instruction on how to do these things. And there's many ways to do that. There are a lot of local fire departments that have EMTs on them that will be willing to put on specific classes on how to do certain things. I know that I've been a part of some that will teach you how to apply tourniquets and stuff wounds. There are CPR classes that obviously walk you through some of CPR and a couple of different techniques that you can use to help save people's lives. Some things have changed in that area, and there are other more advanced classes, stop the bleed classes, immediate action medical. There are many of those out there that you can learn from. Now, nothing beats in-person training. And again, there's a lot of free stuff out there, and I encourage you to go find and do those. A lot of those things are free or cheap, and some of them are very expensive. But, as the old adage says, you get what you pay for. Now, that being said, there is a lot of information out on the web today that would help you be able to get a head start, okay? So you can look up all different kinds of people out there that will show you how to apply a tourniquet properly. And depending on which tourniquet you want, there are a ton out there. How to properly apply an Israeli bandage, how to properly stuff a bullet wound, how to properly diagnose certain physical ailments like heat exhaustion, and how we can get around some of those things, how to take care of yourself and how to treat those things, how to cool people down, how to deal with hypothermia, all these different types of things. And I suggest that you do that. I think that YouTube is a great spot as long as you find the right person to give you training. For instance, there are a lot of things that I can do medically, but I'm not really qualified to give you training in how to deal with hypothermia. I know how to deal with that. It's not that difficult, but I'm not the person to go to for that kind of training. There are people out there though. And so I think that something that we can all do today is commit to medical preparedness. And this is something that we can all do in our own time, is go find a podcast or a YouTube video and find the right creator for you that can give you information that you can start banking on, okay? There's the Doom and Blue podcast with Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy. I'll link that in the show notes below. There's Patriot Nurse, and she's done some cool stuff. There are a lot of different YouTubers out there and podcasts that will give you some things to think about and some stuff, some areas where you can get some gear. Bear Independent has a cool IFAK. There's a lot of people who have cool IFAKs out there. Heck, you can even get good stuff off of Amazon as long as you're careful and you don't get the wrong stuff. But you should be looking and making a commitment to watching and pursuing medical preparedness. And I say this because we all love to think about, I guess we don't love to think about it, but I like to think about, crap hit the fan situations, or all the cool guy tactical stuff. It's fun to think about, it's fun to dream about, it's fun to train for. But at the end of the day, the most likely thing that's going to happen to me is that one of my children is going to cut themselves or hurt themselves out playing in the yard, or maybe we get in a car wreck and I'm going to be the first responder. And you have to remember that you are the first one on the scene. You have to be your own first responder. Your first person to that scene is you, okay? And you got to be able to take care of yourself, because minutes away means death in a lot of situations, especially on a bleed out, okay? And I care about my kids and my family and my friends too much not to be. The problem is there's a lot of people out there that don't care and they don't make the effort. And I don't want you to be one of those people, okay? So I want you to educate yourself first. As a theme, a lot of my videos is education, quality education. And I've spent a lot of time and money on mine, and I haven't spent enough because, regardless of how many classes that I go to or how much information I look up on YouTube or whatever, how many books I read, I still don't know everything. And there's a lot of things that I knew 10 years ago that I found out were not bad, but not as good as they could be. So I would suggest continuing to learn and continuing to educate yourself. The next thing is, after you do some cursory research, again, is to look at that physical training. We already talked about that a little bit, but going out and finding either free or paid for classes that will teach you something, and you should build those up. Again, everybody wants to go and train on, handguns, rifles, shotguns, and believe me, I think that's important. And I think that, you may have to use it more and more as the years go on. And unfortunately, it's coming quicker and quicker. But medical training is not as sexy. It just isn't. But it's more likely to be used. And so you should put some time and effort into that. Now, the great thing about YouTube is that you can not only get gear reviews and find some information about those. And there are some things that I'm qualified to talk about, like RATS tourniquets. I carry one of these everywhere I go. A lot of people hate on these things, but in my opinion, RATS are great because A, they'll do the job for big people, but more importantly, they'll do the job for small people. This is the only one that'll really get around little limbs. And because I have a bunch of kids, this will and can save kids' lives, okay, if they get lacerated. So I carry one of these. I also carry, an Israeli bandage in my backpack or in my car or whatever, just in case, right? And so those are some important things that you can carry on you or near you everywhere you go, and they're easy to find on how to apply those things online, right? And you can look at several different sources. That's a great thing about online, is you can see if there's a quack, and you can pretty easily figure out how to do those things, right? And I can show you how to do this. I've done it for a ton of people, and I've shown, many other ones too. I got rats and cats, and we've got a couple other different name brands out there, and I'm just having a blank immensely out there, but I can put those out there as well. And I carry all different kinds, windlass tourniquets, on my gear, but like I said, I also carry rats. The rats are easy to fit in my pocket. But anyway, it's just an example of some things that I've been able to do and practice on myself, practice on other people, and I have the ability and confidence that if one of my kids or somebody or myself gets hurt, that I can put on a tourniquet or an Israeli bandage, or even use some vet tape and some gauze and stuff a bullet wound if I had to, okay? Not that I want to, but I can do it on myself, I can do it on other people, which is important. And so, again, there's a lot of free training that's out there, but that's something you should do because it's more likely that you're going to use that than anything else out there. The next thing is, talking about medical preparedness is, everybody else say about getting your own medicines, and I agree with that 100%. You should get any medicines that you are dependent on and get a good stock of those. It's harder and harder now than it was some years ago, but you need to continue to try and do that. And I'm not a doctor, and I'm not pretending to be one, so take this with a grain of salt. But in my pursuit of health, I am trying everything that I can to get off all factory medications, okay? I have some that I'm on, and I've been on them for different kinds for years and years, over 20 years. And I've tried many different things to different degrees to be ready and get off these things or try to be healthy, from diets to fitness and all kinds of things. And I finally found something that I think is going to help me not only heal up from a chronic issue, but also help me to be off of factory medication. And if that's the case, that's great. It's going to save me money, okay? And it's going to cause my body to not have the side effects that medicines often come with all factory medicines, and will obviously help me to be healthier as days go by. And some of that sacrifice, again, I do believe that working out is very important, and I do believe that your diet is super important, okay? Your waistline, again, is your biggest killer for men. So if you're 15, 20, 30 pounds overweight, you're fat, okay? And I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but somebody may not have told you that you're fat. And if you're okay with that, that's your business. Just remember, it's taking a toll on your life. And this is coming from somebody who used to be 215 pounds. I'm at 180, 181 right now, okay? I'm not saying I won't fluctuate, but I should not be 215 pounds, right? So medical preparedness is not just training on proper procedures. That's part of it. It's not just having medication. It's not just having gear, but it's also having a proper mindset and a proper mental attitude and mental fortitude to taking charge of your health and the health of your family. So diet's important. Again, already talked about that, but making sure that you're not just eating Wendy's hamburgers all the time, cooking some meals at home, trying to get better ingredients, trying the wildcraft, trying to get stuff out of your garden, trying to get some wild meat, trying to get wild caught meat, even if you're not catching it yourself. That's super important because food is medicine, okay? So, again, get your factory medicines, have a stock of those things. Don't get off those things if you have high blood pressure, because guess what? If you're on high blood pressure and you stop taking it, you have a very good chance of having a heart attack and dying, okay, or stroke. So don't want that to happen to you. But, it's also a good time to work with your doctor and start eating the right foods, losing some weight, and trying to get off those. There are some things that you can't get off of, but there's a lot of natural doctors out there, homeopathic, NDs, chiropractors, acupuncturists, whatever works for you. You have to figure out, everybody's body is different, but you have to figure out what works for you in your specific condition, and you need to go out there and do your own research and be your own doctor. Patient, heal thyself, okay? And that isn't easy. I've been on a road, like I said, for over 20 years trying to heal myself. Sometimes I've had better luck, sometimes I haven't. But I think I found one now. But it took a long time and some help to actually get there. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you do have a chronic issue, and you've been told by the medical society that you are unable to get healthy, you can beat that, because I'm beating that now. I want to encourage you that even if you are healthy, you can do a little bit better, whether it's working out, whether it's changing that diet. And what I seriously suffer with is the chocolate treats at the end of the day. Got to cut back on those. Or bread or pasta or whatever it is, changing your diet, getting physically active, and then getting training and mindset and carrying the right gear. Because even though you look like Batman, you can hide a lot of that, but your family's worth it, you're worth it, in all those areas, okay? And it's not easy, or I guess I should say it's not hard. It's simple, but it's not easy. Maybe that's the best way I should put that. It's simple, but it's not easy. And it seemed kind of daunting because we went over a lot of things really fast today, but you can do these things. They are easy to do, and they're all available at your fingertips. And if you want to go take a high, expensive class like Immediate Action Medical, I think you should, because it puts you in stressful situations, fixing people, and get your hands on it and getting as close to the real situations you can. But, again, there's other hands-on things out there, and there's many other things you can do to take charge of your health and be medically prepared, okay? So get out there, find something, commit to changing just one thing, or doing a little bit of research, just an hour a week, whether it's reading a book or a podcast or whatever, or watching a video on how to do something, and up your medical supplies, up your gear, and work on your physical fitness and on your health. Doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter if you're crippled, unless you're crippled from the neck down and you can't move, there's something you can do. And even then, even if you do have some disability, and again, crippled from the neck down is one thing, but even if you don't have a leg, or an arm, or you have some other kind of disability, you can do other things. So don't let society, or don't let that depression get you down. And the last thing I do want to comment on before I go is depression. And a lot, not all, but a lot of depression comes from poor health. Okay, so getting out and taking a walk, getting out and working out, getting off prescription medications where you can, working with your doctor, eating right will help get your mental clarity and focus up, and will help you to be more healthier. Because remember, you're not a one-dimensional being. You and I are looking at each other, at a camera. You're watching me on a screen, but your health is not just a one-way thing. There's some give and some take there. Your body's going to be different than my body, but it is multi-dimensional. It's multifaceted. Okay, it's mental health, it's physical health, it is immediate need health versus long-term need health. It's a big bucket, okay? And I could go on for a long time about this, but I just want to get you some motivation here at the end of the week to take this long Labor Day weekend and figure out something to do for your health. So go out there and get on that, okay? Don't forget, follow us on Float and on MeWe and on Instagram. Check out our website. check out, obviously on YouTube or Odyssey, whichever one you're looking at us on. Subscribe to us on the other one; it would be great for us. If we get booted off YouTube ever, we're going to be on Odyssey, and we would love to see you there. So do that for us. Stay uncivilized.